Welcome back to the channel, and you are probably wondering what this is. As you know by now, if you've been following the channel for some time, Brie and I are backpackers and we are currently doing a world trip. So this looks a little out of place. So Level 8 is a company that reached out to us and asked if we would be interested in reviewing a checked bag. Now, at first we were a little hesitant to do that because we are backpackers. However, so as you know, Brie and I are backpackers. We've been traveling around the world for over a year at this point, and we've been doing it with 40-liter backpacks. Now, this company, Level 8, reached out to us and they asked us if we were interested in reviewing one of their checked bags. And at first we were a little hesitant because it doesn't really fit with our ethos. However, when we started this trip, if you watched our Iceland video, we did take a checked bag in order to put in some rain gear and some warmer clothing that we wouldn't take with us for the rest of the trip because we were mostly going to be in hot climates. Since we had to stop back through Switzerland, where we just came from about a week ago, we knew we were going to have to pick these items up and slowly take them home with us. At that point, we were wondering how we were going to do that. We did take an away bag with us, but we've since picked up just a few other small things along the way. So we were looking for a little extra capacity. And while we were originally going to accomplish this with just a day pack, we took them up on their offer. We really like this bag. And this is the one I'm going to review today. And that is the Voyageur 28-inch from Level 8. Now, as I just mentioned, we do have the away bag as well. And so it gave us an opportunity to really compare and contrast these two and see what there is to compare with the checked-in bags. It's not something that we are particularly specialized in. So let me give you my honest opinion here, because I spent 1 year looking up backpacks to figure out which was the right one to take around the world. And every single review that I came across that was unbiased, I greatly appreciated, because I wanted to know that the person telling me these things about the bag, they weren't being paid to kind of gloss over maybe the defects. And so I always said if I was ever gonna review a bag, I was gonna be just as unbiased as that. Now, full disclosure, Level 8 did reach out to us and they did send us the bag. However, we're not being really compensated or sponsored by them. We do have an affiliate link now. That's about as far as it's gonna go. We did tell them that we would only do it if we could do an honest review, and they seemed really cool about that. So actually, so far I have to say all of our interactions with the company have been fantastic. I really like the people over there, so we have no problem, at least from a company perspective, giving them a shout out so far. As I mentioned, this is the Voyageur Check-In 28-inch. So this is the largest of their check-in bags, and this is the limited edition, which comes in this yellow and black. There are also 3 other colorways, 2 regular and 1 other limited edition. However, we really like the yellow one because after being at so many luggage carousels, being able to quickly spot and identify our bag as it came out has been a huge plus for us. I have seen so many people grab the wrong bags and almost start to walk away with them after our year on the road that this has been a lifesaver for us. The listed capacity for this bag is 99 liters, and it comes in at about $310 for the limited edition colorway and about $299.99 or $300 for the non-limited edition colors. This bag is 16.6 inches long, 13.3 inches wide, and 29.1 inches tall. That gives you an idea of the rough inner dimension, which comes to 99 liters. Now, all the size does come at a weight premium. So this bag completely empty does come in at over 12 pounds. However, what do you get for that weight? Well, first things first, Level 8 describes this as a wide trolley suitcase. And this is the thing that caught my eye the most because this is pretty unique, and actually my biggest complaint with checked bags is that they always have the handles running down kind of the middle of the bag, and you always have this weird little torque battle with the bag as you're dragging it around because you kind of have to push really hard on one side of the handle to make it go in a straight line. And let me show you what they've done. So back here you can see that there's a wide handle that actually goes down each side of the bag, and that means that you don't have these 2 lines going right down the middle. So when you're packing stuff, you don't kind of have to pack around these 2 channels, so to speak. Instead, they're built into the edge of the bag, so you really have the full back panel completely flat without anything in the way, so you can lay down packing cubes without kind of a weird little divot in the middle that you have to account for. Now, real quick, I would like to apologize for all of this dog hair. This bag was completely clean when I brought it down here, but we are actually doing a house sit in England currently, and we are going to give you guys a review on trusted house sitters for anyone interested in doing this. We actually found out about it from some other travelers on the road, decided to give it a try, and it has been amazing and 100% worth it. So don't forget to subscribe and get the notification and watch that video when it drops. Let's talk about the material and the texture. So this bag is made out of a German material called Macrolon, which is a polycarbonate material, which is this very nice kind of like hard rubber, and it's been fantastic. It definitely feels durable. I really like the feel of it. The texture is nice, and as you noticed, there was all this dog hair over this a second ago, but I can just kind of brush it with my hands and everything comes right off, which is really great. It's been kind of easy to keep clean. You can see it's a little worn, and that's because we have taken it on a couple flights. I've been testing this for about the last week because I didn't want to just test it blind. I wanted to actually see what it was like to, walk through airports, take down gravel roads, etc., etc. Which brings me to maybe my favorite thing, these wheels. So they talk about these 360-degree ultra glide wheels, and I was like, okay, just marketing gimmicks because a wheel is a wheel, let's be honest. But these are actually fantastic, and I don't know what it is, but they are high performance wheels, if those are a thing. They're incredibly smooth. They feel really good. It's actually almost been a fight between Brie and I who has to wheel this bag because it's just a pleasure to use. It's super smooth, and actually I was checking out the reviews on this bag on Level 8's website, and one of the reviewers said the wheels are almost too good because if there's any sort of incline, the bag will start to roll because it's just so smooth, and they actually almost requested a braking action for them. I didn't think it was that extreme, but you definitely get the sense that this bag will move with the slightest touch, which combined with this awesome wide trolley handle, it is super easy to maneuver no matter what the weight is, and we packed this thing out to really stress test it. Now, speaking about price, this thing does come in at about $310 for the limited edition, which is less than the away bag. The same checked bag with the same dimensions is about, I think, $50 or $60 more. I would be hard pressed to see why you would go for the away over this as of right now. Specifically, almost just for this, just by itself, this makes it a winner in my mind. It is such a pleasure to use, but let's talk about the other features. First off, you'll notice that this bag has 3 handles, one at the top, one on the side, and then one actually on kind of like the front of the bag, so to speak, if you're laying it down. And at first I was a little unsure about what this handle would be really useful for, but when you zip it up, because there's, you know, it's 2 equal compartments, clamshell, when you load them on top of each other, it kind of collapses in the zipper and it's hard to zip up. So by holding this handle, you're able to zip the bag completely around very, very easily, which is a fantastic feature. The one negative, and this is actually probably the biggest negative for me about this bag, is that handle creates a little divot in the middle, which I was just saying they avoided by moving this handle or this telescoping part to the side. It does create a divot in the front of the bag, which means that you now have to pack around that. Not a huge issue, but something you should be aware of. It does take away space from that main compartment. It also comes with these little rubber feet, both on the back and on the side. The away bag, I think, only has it on one side, so this is actually a little bit nicer because it does give you more opportunities to lift the bag off of the ground and just give you a little bit clearance for dirt, dust, and, for example, dog hair. Just some random stuff, the branding. So I don't really care about logos or labels or whatever, but I do have to say I actually really like this logo. It's got a nice aesthetic. There's not much more to it. It's not very obtrusive. It's not too big. I mean, same with the away. That's one of the reasons I like the away. It's just very subtle and, in my opinion, pretty. Nothing new here. No one's reinventing the wheel, but they do have a TSA lock with a combination. Good for locking your stuff, and actually more than anything, just kind of keeping your zippers out of the way so they don't get snagged on anything when it's in transit. This is the handle on the front that I was talking about. You can see it's got some give. It's really great. It's useful for example, pulling this off of the conveyor belt as well at the airport, or just using the zipper as I mentioned. Now that we've covered the exterior, let's get to the inside. Okay, so this is the interior of the top part, and you'll see right here, this is that little handle that I was talking about. You can definitely see how it cuts in, and it has this big obtrusion here that's kind of annoying to pack around, but it's not the worst, especially if you know it's there. And this lining is very nice, very smooth. I like it. Nothing really to write home about there. It's a lining, all bags kind of have them. The bag does come with 2 dividers, so each section is completely zipped up, which I do like because it helps keep things in place. You know, for example, the away bag has that kind of insert thing that can be clipped over and cinched down to hold things in place, but I do like the fact that both sides are fully zipped because that ensures that everything is staying exactly where I put it. Now, on this main side, there is one thing that I want to talk about, and this divider, this is really cool. So this is what they call their wet pouch and their dry pouch. So dry items come in here. It's just a mesh material so they can breathe, and wet items go in this side, which is, you know, specifically not mesh so that if items leak during transit, they don't get all over your clothes. I do have 2 complaints here. Not really complaints, but maybe just things I should mention. The first is that these pockets, while they are really great, they're not 3D, right? So they're not like gusseted at the bottom. They're not giving you like an extra inch, which makes sense because they are essentially flat up against the other side. And if you overpack this, it will bulge out. So maybe they didn't want to give you too much extra room and then make it unable to close. The benefit for me of this wet pouch is that I could then pack liquids that are too big to fit in my carry-on, right? So we're taking full-size shaving cream while we're doing these house sits, etc. And you know, we obviously can't take those in our carry-on, and we are worried about them bursting in our bag and getting all over our clothes. So this wet pouch has been the perfect solution to that because we can put things in here. The only other complaint I have about the wet pouch is the zipper. So most companies kind of tend to fail at the zipper in my experience. They put all this work into the aesthetic and the look and maybe the comfort, but then they, you know, forget about the most important part, and in my mind, that's the zipper. So it's not a YKK aqua guard or anything like that. So it's just a regular zipper, which is great. I mean, it's very smooth and easy to use, but that can easily leak through, right? It's not gonna stop stuff from going through. Speaking of zippers, this has to be said, they did go with YKK zippers, which are the #1 zipper in the game. If you want good quality zippers, they have to be YKK. They're one of the oldest zipper makers coming out of Japan, I believe, and they are fantastic. They've used the 55-gram ones, these big honkers for all the way around the edge, and it's just nice to see that they paid a little bit extra for the quality. So you might be sitting there and saying, okay, that price is a little high for me, I'd rather get a cheaper bag. Don't think about it that way. This is an investment and this thing will last you, and it's clear that they took the steps that they needed to take in order to produce a high quality bag at a good price point. Now, there's nothing really else to say here. It's just one big bucket. This is perfect, you know, for just stuffing stuff in there, zipping it up and forgetting about it. But the other side does come with one other cool feature, and I've always thought that this would be a good idea, and I was so surprised when I saw that someone made this, because I assumed it wasn't possible because no one had done it before. Just so you can keep up, that was the front of the bag, this is the back of the bag. Now you'll see here, this is where the telescoping handles are. You can see them on the side here, which is great because now you notice that they're not running down the middle here in this typical handle channel where you have to pack around. So even though they do cut into the capacity of the bag, it's on the side, which in my opinion is much more easier to pack around. It does come with this mesh divider, which does keep everything kind of tucked in and tightly packed. That, however, is not what I wanted to focus on. What I wanted to focus on is this little thing right here. So this little divider is held by 2 straps on either side that kind of anchor into the top of the bag and tie into the fabric. And I was so surprised when I saw this because I've seriously always wanted this in a bag. But it's a little divider that you can kind of fold up, and I've seen these in like Velcro tech kits. You just kind of Velcro these walls in, and camera cubes, for example. But this is awesome because it gives me a way, for example, to stack all of my clothing down below and then put my heavier items or things that I want quick access to, like my tech kit or my toiletries, at the top of this bag and flip this divider to stop them from falling down. My biggest complaint with checked bags is that whenever you put stuff in, everything is just kind of gonna fall due to gravity as you're wheeling it around. But this allows the heavier items to stay at the top, which in my opinion is just a more comfortable carry. And it also allows me to quickly grab them. It's got little gaps around the side, which is great because if you do have a long item, for example, hiking poles, which I did take on one of the test trips with this, they were able to slide all the way up and through this, which is great. It didn't completely seal off the bag, and it has been fantastic. And this is just a super nice addition from Level 8. Mad props to them for this. I think it's been incredible. So you take a look at things like this, you know, this divider, the YKK zippers, this great new material from Germany, this amazing gliding wheel system. And this just speaks to the thought process that went into this bag. You know, it's like they built a bag and then actually used it. You know, they went through and they said, what are things that we like as travelers? Anyway, that is the review for the Level 8 Voyageur 28-inch checked bag. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to leave comments in the comment section below or reach out to us on Instagram. Thank you so much for watching, and please do not forget to like and subscribe so you can get notified about our next video.